Welcome in, fellow flavor seekers. As someone who's spent years wandering the globe, tasting absolutely everything from bustling street food carts to Michelin-starred creations, I can tell you right now that very few culinary experiences even come close to the pure, unadulterated joy of eating in Spain. So welcome to Today's Explainer, where I get to put on my ultimate foodie hat and share the mouth-watering secrets of the definitive Spanish tasting menu. Settle in, because we're about to take a deep dive into a culinary tradition that's, well, it's going to make you very, very hungry.
Here is your personal tasting menu for the evening. First, the magic of tapas. Second, the unbeatable Spanish classics. Third, fresh from the sea. Fourth, savory meats and veggies. And finally, number 5, the art of bar hopping.
Section 1. The magic of tapas.
Okay, I want you to picture yourself in a packed, bustling Spanish bar in Madrid or Seville. The air is thick with laughter, you've got the clinking of glasses, and this absolutely irresistible aroma of garlic and olive oil everywhere. You see, tapas aren't just food. They're a highly social, casual way of sharing experiences with your friends. They are small plates meant to be shared right alongside your drinks, and they range from a simple, beautiful dish of marinated olives to really elaborate, slow-cooked creations. But at their core, tapas are literally the physical embodiment of the Spanish lifestyle. They're convivial, they're relaxed, and they're deeply, deeply connected to the people you're sharing the table with.
Course number 2. The unbeatable Spanish classics.
Crispy, piquant, addictive. If there is one undisputed king of the tapas menu, it's patatas bravas. We're talking about perfectly fried, crunchy potato cubes absolutely drenched in a spicy, tomato-based brava sauce, and more often than not, they get drizzled with this rich, garlicky aioli too. Honestly, this is arguably the most universal tapa across all of Spain. It's affordable, it's incredibly satisfying, and the contrast between that hot, crunchy potato and the zesty sauce makes it quite literally impossible to eat just one.
Next up is a dish that sparks passionate, and I mean passionate, debates across kitchen tables all over Spain: the tortilla española, or Spanish omelet. Now, this isn't your standard thin breakfast omelet, okay? This is a thick, hearty, magnificent creation made with eggs and potatoes cooked slowly in rich olive oil until it's golden on the outside and ideally just a little bit runny in the center. But here's the great controversy. Should it include onions? To onion or not to onion? It is a culinary debate that seriously divides the entire nation. But whether you slice it into little wedges or small squares, it is a glorious staple that works perfectly as a light bite or a substantial base for the rest of your night.
Now, what's truly magical are the sheer varieties hidden inside these unassuming little packages called croquetas. These are fritters made from a creamy, silky bechamel base, breaded and deep-fried until they're perfectly golden and crispy. And every region, actually, scratch that, every single bar has its own special variation. You might bite into one filled with savory jamón, tender chicken, salty cod, which they call bacalao, or earthy mushrooms. They are the ultimate finger food, giving you this brilliant textural contrast between that outer crunch and the meltingly soft interior.
Moving right along to Section 3, fresh from the sea.
Spain's coastal areas have some incredibly diverse ways of preparing their daily catch. Take calamares a la romana, for example. These are tender rings of squid fried in batter until perfectly crispy, usually served super simply with just a squeeze of fresh lemon or some aioli. Then, for a completely different flavor profile, we've got boquerones in vinagre. These are fresh anchovies marinated cold in vinegar, garlic, and olive oil until they actually turn white. They're tangy, bright, and honestly, surprisingly not overly fishy. Finally, for the adventurous palate, there's pulpo a la gallega. This is a real standout from Galicia up in the northwest. It's tender, boiled octopus served over potatoes, generously dusted with smoked paprika, olive oil, and coarse salt. It's meaty, smoky, and absolutely unforgettable.
But I couldn't talk about seafood without dedicating a moment to gambas al ajillo. Just imagine this. A traditional clay cazuela gets placed right in front of you, literally sizzling and bubbling. Inside are succulent shrimp sautéed in a sea of hot olive oil, loaded with pungent garlic, fiery chili flakes, and maybe a little splash of sherry or lemon. The aroma alone is going to make your mouth water. And the best part? Taking a rustic piece of crusty bread and mopping up every last drop of that fragrant, spicy oil. It's a massive crowd pleaser, especially down in Madrid and southern Spain.
Section 4. Savory meats and veggies. All right, it is time for pure, comforting indulgence. Spain's world-renowned charcuterie is unmatched. Jamón Ibérico is the premium top-tier choice. Made from acorn-fed black pigs, it's sliced super thin, it's luxurious, and it literally melts in your mouth. Jamon serrano is its classic salty present. What's so beautiful here is that there's no cooking required. It's just pure respect for world-class ingredients, usually served with some simple bread. But if you're craving hot comfort food, you order the albondigas. These are rustic, hearty beef or pork meatballs simmered in a savory tomato or wine-based sauce. Let me tell you, after a few drinks, dipping bread into that rich sauce is the ultimate homey comfort.
Okay, let's play a little culinary game of Russian roulette, shall we? Pimientos de padrón are these small green peppers from Galicia, blistered in hot oil and tossed with coarse sea salt. Here's the catch. About 90% of them are perfectly mild, sweet, and delicious, but about 1 in 10 is surprisingly spicy. You literally never know which one you're going to get, which makes ordering a plate of these not just a great vegetable option, but a genuinely fun, interactive part of the whole meal.
And finally, Section 5, the art of bar hopping.
Now, before we talk strategy, I have to give a brief shout out to some frequent menu contenders that will perfectly round out any authentic spread. Always look out for pan con tomate. It's crusty bread rubbed with raw garlic, ripe tomato, and olive oil. So simple, so good. You'll also want to order some sharp manchego cheese paired with sweet quince paste, savory chorizo cooked in red wine, and ensalada dia rusa, which is this beautifully rich, creamy potato salad. These right here are the unsung heroes of the tapas bar.
So, the rules of tapas actually change entirely depending on where you are in Spain. Up north in the Basque Country, they serve pinchos. These are elaborate, individual bites often skewered onto a piece of crusty bread with a little toothpick. You just grab what you want from the bar and you pay by counting the toothpicks at the end of the night. But head down south to Andalusia and you'll find the traditional culture where tapas are often served as completely free, surprise portions that just arrive alongside the drinks you order. It's a fascinating regional split.
So the crucial point is to follow this insider's masterclass to recreate the perfect, dynamic tapas experience for yourself. Step 1. Emphasize variety. Always order a balanced mix of hot and cold, meat, seafood, and vegetables. Step 2. Remember the pairing is just as important as the food. Match your plates with a crisp Spanish wine, a traditional glass of sweet vermouth, or a freezing cold beer. And Step 3, which is probably the most important rule of all, don't stay in one place. The culture is all about enjoying the social vibe, having a drink and a bite, and then hopping over to the next bar down the street.
Which brings us to the most important question of this explainer. Where is your nearest tapas bar? Seriously, I want you to take the knowledge from this tasting menu, grab a group of friends, and go find a local tapas spot tonight. Or better yet, go track down a hidden, speakeasy-style joint in your city that serves up authentic Spanish bites. Order the bravas, play a little roulette with the padrón peppers, and experience that incredible social magic for yourself. Thank you so much for joining me on this culinary deep dive. Now get out there and start tasting.